Yeah. The extra bit I have is that everything changed for me when I completely owned the loneliness lane is what I'll call it. When I completely owned that this is going to be my jam,
Mm.
that's what shifted for me
Yeah, I
in
like that.
Toronto.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. There's I think that's why when you first brought it up, I was really drawn to it because I'm like, I feel that I feel like there's a way to play at it. Like I feel like you know what I mean. It's almost um like role playing, cosplaying versus actually owning it, right?
Yeah.
So a few things got me. One, you saw that I had like this inner response,
Hmm.
when you brought up one person a little bit at a time, right? And
Right.
my thing was like a lot of people, a whole lot,
Yep.
like, like that was, I was like, I can't do it. I like just one person. So much work. That's literally what I think. I'm like so much work. Um,
Yep.
but when we translated it into like honoring what gives you energy, honor like allowing yourself to do it in a way that still gets you out into the world, that still has room to help more than that, but honoring what gives you energy. That part my nervous system like really got right, because it goes back even to the outlier portion of this year, where it's like my general things like you got to do what works for you, you
Yep.
know but like you got to do what works for you, one. But the other side of it, and this is the other part that gets me, is like you also don't have to go change the world, right? Or change your world. That's my thing, right? It's not really that's like let's go do something epic, right? And changing your world might be like singing in a barbershop group and like going for top 10. You know what I mean? It does not have to be like I realize like I often want to think of myself as a social entrepreneur, but I'm like I'm not like fighting for climate, like fighting against climate change and all this stuff. You're like I'm not. That's not it. Loneliness is my thing. That one I get. Belonging is my sliver of loneliness that I that
Yes.
I
That's
that I play
yep.
within.
Me
Yep,
too.
yep. There's an element in there where I think that the real freedom and what really feels like is lining up for me is this component of like you got to do you in enough ways to make sure you keep getting the energy to go keep playing the bigger game.
Yep.
And however that like whatever it is that allows you to go play that game, do it that way, and then allow technology, let's call it like the larger scheme of things. A book is a technology, it's a way of like but allow technology to carry that message forward, or continue doing the work beyond you.
Yep.
But you as a source, like allow yourself to let the core thing that works for you work for you, and then multiply it through whatever means you want to go through. Let's jam on that a bit, Shermain. How does that feel when I say that to you?
You're exactly right. And I want to add this other bit.
Hmm.
Another thing that changed everything for me was being on a mission that scared me and made me feel there was feeling around it or underneath it. I'm on a mission. I'm saving lives lost to loneliness. And so when I repeat that back to myself of like, hey, I'm saving lives lost to loneliness, like there's so much energy. I become energized when I think about that, when I say it. And so yeah, finding something that brings that energy in for me was critical.
Mhm. Yeah, this is awesome. For those of y'all that are joining right now, I'm jamming right now with Shermain Melton. Shermain is one of like he's a good friend, a great thinker, and an incredible movement leader. And Shermain's like he has a mission to end loneliness for 9 billion people. And right now we're getting into. I've known Shermain for a long time to see like okay, like you've been about this, but now you're like about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I am, as someone who's been in the outlier, been the champion for outlier for the last 7 8 years. I've recognized that there's a level of doing this work that can be on the surface, that can be passable, that can be acceptable, that can be palatable, that can be what I think digestible, right? Especially in the standpoint of making the impact and bringing in revenue, like doing it for the business. Like I'm like, if I was getting employed somewhere and I could just do without having to try and like make sure there was um, uh, a way for the inputs and outputs to come in, basically to replenish myself through the process, would be something different. And so I'm finding myself, we didn't come in with any topic at all. We just knew we were going to jam, and that when we spend time together, good things happen. And so we get to do this, and now others get a benefit. But I'm diving in with my curiosities around this. And this is not just a conversation between me and Shermain. We're having a one-on-one conversation, but it's actually a many-to-many conversation. So if y'all have questions for Shermain, if you have things that you agree with, you don't agree with, that you're challenged with, like, put it into the chat, put it into the comments. Like, we get to see all of them. So put it in here, and we'll keep playing. But welcome. And if you've been watching this year, use that portion where I just gave you the recap to take that as an insight moment for yourself. Share, like, think about, like, okay, this is what's been happening in this conversation. While I'm describing what's happening to you from my perspective, what I've learned over the years of doing this, Shermain, is that everyone who watches this, no matter when they watch it, are going to get what they want to get from this, or what they are actually here to get from it, regardless of the conversation you and I are having, or what I think they're getting out of it. So that's been so freeing over the years to, like, be like, people come to, like, you're going to learn this, and that. I'm like, I don't know what you're going to learn, because you're going to learn what you came here for, even if you didn't know what that was. You know, just seeing us say, hey, by the way, we're going to come jam, might free something for you. You know? So I'll come to you, Shermain. What's flowing through you? Let me ask you. Let's just check in with you. Like, what's been one of your bigger insights as throughout this conversation? Because I know that you're like me. Like, we have good return on investment. You know, so tell me one of your insights.
Yeah, one of my biggest insights so far from this conversation is something you just said. You used the words about it. So what shifted for me is, before I was about loneliness, but now I'm about it. And that was the shift.
I feel it. Like it's cool. It, like, you wear it well, you know.
Thank you.
And I think it's something that, like, that's important to play with. Like, I'm excited that it's out in the world in this way, because there's so as I'm saying, I'm excited about it, I'm also listening to myself and asking myself, okay, so where am I scared about it? Or, like, not scared for you, but scared for me. Like, all right, so Niiamah, if you're so excited, then, like, what's keeping you from? And Shermain, I'm gonna actually ask you. I'm gonna ask you to have, like, a Melton minute, or a Melton, like, like that thing you do.
Right? The Melton method. Yep, here it comes.
The Melton method. All right, I'm gonna request it. Right. So y'all, if you haven't seen Shermain do this here, like, and look, if it's not coming to you, I know you will tell me it's not coming to you. But, like, Shermain has this way of, like, taking in things, and it's like, this is what you need to hear.
Yeah. So here we go. So here's what you need to hear. The first thing, and actually is the thing I just said, you are about Outliers edge, but you're not yet about it. What comes up as you hear that?
That one, I'm like bowdy about it. Like, let me play in.
Okay.
I think it might have been the first framing. Like, it's like, is it that I'm about Outliers edge, or am I about Outliers?
Oh,
period.
Thank you.
Right?
Outliers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Outliers.
Yeah. I think this is this is what I want. I want to be bowdy about it. Right? Like, and look, it's like, it's almost, it feels odd to say that, where it's not like every part of my brand is Outliers edge. You know, I've been doing like it is. I'm not, also trying to like, get crypto on the side, or invest in real estate, or, even, like, have enough, like, this is every brand, every conversation, it's all related to the Outliers. But where it feels like the not about it part of it that's coming in is basically this, like, existential question. I want to get your thoughts on this. The existential question for me becomes, I talk about leading a movement, but then I show up in, like, leading a business. I talk about leading, like there's a distinction to me between group and community and ecosystem and movement. Like, all of them to many other people might be the same exact thing, but I think that there's something to build a community, and it's another completely different thing to build a movement out of it. Right. And I know that I'm building a movement. I know, like going back to the energy side of things, like, whenever I think about community, a business, all that stuff there, my energy shrinks, my options become lower. It becomes very much like, in order to energy. Well, I'm just doing this in order to finally get to this. And, like, part of why I think I'm so energized by the conversation with you is I feel like you got rid of a lot of in order twos. You got rid of everything that wasn't just the real thing. And
Yeah.
so the thing that's coming for me is like, and maybe this fits a little bit less in like loneliness for 9 billion, and sits more in like the loneliness of the African American leader side of things. Like, because it's in that space there where I ask myself, like, I'm clearly in love with Outliers. I'm not gonna like. I get bored by average people.
Mhm.
I get bored by average approaches. I'm just like, got it, done it. We've done it already. You got it. If you want the incremental things to go follow someone else's program. They'll give you their system, so on and so forth. But if you're here to build it the Shermain Melton way, if you're here to build it the insert your name here way, like I'm your person. Like let's go do it. And it's not just because that's going to work for me revenue wise or business wise, but it's because like I truly believe that this world cannot change from people who are playing the same way as everyone else. It's only the people who are outliers or feel outcasts or outsiders that, like, if they step into their leadership, they will naturally move things. And so I feel that like that's what I'm about. But then I might get into like, let's talk systems. Here goes the funnel of how to get people through. Like it gets but I know that when I didn't have that component, when I didn't have the business part, when I wasn't able to sustainably fund my impact, I almost had to quit this whole thing.
Mm.
It always sits there. It's like, hey, look, if you don't actually have a way to fund yourself and your impact now and in the future, you will be able to make some impact. You'll get people to watch a live stream. You'll come on here. You'll have like some good conversations. You'll do the thing. But like the real game is like chapters across the world where people are like leading things that I don't even know, like I'm not even thinking of. They're like, we're creating an outlier hackathon. We have like it's all in on this. And so I'm in this juicy space, or crunchy space is really what it feels like, of
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm there, but I still think I might be playing a pretty average game. Oh,
Yeah.
that did not feel good to say. But that, that is like an
I
out
agree.
like
How about that?
outliers that played. Yeah. All right, go ahead,
I
Shermain, since you
agree.
agree.
You're playing an average game. Here's what I hear is that what really energizes you is that second bit you said. It's like, what if there were different chapters of Outliers Edge here and there was a Outliers hackathon and this, and like when you spoke about that, you lit up.
Yeah.
Like, what if that was the business?
I can't like there's so
I can't.
what's happening? Yeah, I'm checking in. I'm checking in. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find what's happening. Like
Okay.
I'm committed to letting my insides come on the outside. Because this is it. This is where the rub is. It's not, I know, I think I need to take a breath. So I love the possibility of it all. All right. I love the what if elements of it. And I like, to me, it's less, I think this is why movement fits so well for me, because like, I don't need to control this thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't need, like, I'm not here to control outliers and say you need to be X, Y, Z. So the gap for me, hmm, okay, this is what's coming up. I'm going to try and find all the stuff that feels like icky to say, and say it out loud. Right.
Okay.
So the first thing that comes out, the one that's maybe shouting the loudest out of this is like, cool, Niiamah, like chapters around the world, like people doing all this stuff. That's great. But if you haven't even figured out how to master the live stream in your own portion of the business, like so on and so forth, how are you going to help other people be able to do that? How are you going to help them with the resources to go and do that? How can you, if this thing that you're creating, you have like isn't even underneath your purview, underneath your domain so strongly, then like, are you fooling yourself? And on the same side, and like not to be like self chastising, but are you jeopardizing what you stand for by not just getting your ducks in a row first, so that then can then give you the resources and resourcefulness and connections and all that to to take it wherever it needs to be. Put another way, Shermain, it's like it might be in year 5 years from now, like I might be able to go and have 50 different chapters pop up, right? But if I tried right now, I might get one or two, but never really get out of like the grind enough to get to 5 years from now, have that actually take off. So play with me a little bit there. Tell me what you're hearing.
Here's what I hear.
Let's go.
You're talking about 5 years from now. We're here. We're right now. So I want to bring that in first. You're bringing up 5 years from now. That's the first thing. The second thing I have is I wrote down, you haven't owned the movement yet. You said I'm this movement. You're speaking about the movement, but I don't see that you've owned it yet.
That's true. There's truth in that. Like, so I kind of oscillate in it. There was times where, I would have now it says join the community, but it was like, hey, look, like join the movement, like I would have this on the screen. I'll be like, hey, come out here, and or I would have it's not on this view, but if you read the bottom of it, it's like, oh no, actually I took it off for some reason. So I have scrolling every time I come here, like, come be the movement, this lead the change you were born for, and the engine that arrives it, right? And so I think that, like, there's a lot of me that has the movement is coming alive. I think that there is an element of this that says, what does the movement really stand for? What does it really stand for? And am I getting to the core of what it stands for, or am I playing around the edges? That's what this whole thing keeps going by to. And it goes to, like, I'll ask people, I'm like, is this a B2C business where I'm going out to like individuals on like a personal development side of thing and being like, hey, you are like, let's help you be all of who you are unapologetically. And like that to me does not need to do anything with business. It could, but it doesn't need to. It could be for like, any person out there in the world, and just being like, are you showing up as you fully or not? Right? That to me is like one side of this thing, like the outlier side of it. And the other side of it, that's like, okay, let's go build something. Let's go shape our world together. Let's go create something here and show the like what happens when outliers show up in the world. You get what I'm saying? And so like, I think that is like when like in the ownership of it, like that's where things feel a bit off. And in the absence of that clarity, I'm doing a lot of infrastructure building. I'm learning different skills, so on and so forth. But we haven't actually hit the real yet.
Yeah.
We'll come see when I say that, because this is me trying to unpack right now, man.
Yeah, you're spot on. So you said oscillating. That's the word you used. Yep. Going from here to here to here. You're back and forth. You're not solid yet. You're not, I'm going to use the words, you're not on mission yet. You don't yet have a mission that moves you, that is an anchor, or that you can come back to. You can completely anchor yourself on as needed, is what I see.
Well, let me ask you, like, there's a part of that lands but doesn't, like, it's like, 'cause I'm not missionless, right? Like this is variations on, it's almost like 80-20ing. What's the 20% that's going to lead to 80% of the results? Like, I'm not trying to be efficient with it, but like, let me play this out a little bit for you, like, and see how you're navigating it, right? So loneliness for 9 billion people, right? And then you're also talking about the loneliness of the African American leader, right? Let's talk, like, I think that's where the distinction is, because I wouldn't say that if you're pursuing the loneliness of the African American leader, I'm like, oh, you're not tethered to your mission of loneliness of 9 billion people, but there aren't 9 billion African American leaders, right? And so, like, the oscillation for me goes to who, okay, should, like, I can speak to the African American leader. I'm using you as an example. Right? I could do here, right? And that's going to go help with loneliness and this element here.
Yeah.
But there are other macro elements of loneliness that, like, of just like connection and being comfortable being who you are, and being able to get outside of the bubble that you're in and know that like just the people that, like, there's that. And that's going to be like the thing that 9 billion people could take on, and that's also all lot of work, and like, and there's going to be African American leaders who actually would benefit from that too. So I get caught. That's the real dichotomy. It's like I'm not backing away from what I know I'm about, right? I mean, I have the language to say it succinctly over and over again, but like, there's no. It would be silly of me to say that I'm not on mission, because I am. It's just like I'm looking at this. I'm like, am I fooling myself by saying, I go back to my word, entrepreneurs who are outliers and helping you build a business that's an outlier business? Is that what I'm really here for? Am I really here for my version of the 9 billion people, or like, let's say 3% of the people who are outliers out there? Maybe it's like, 500,000 people. Sorry, not 500,000, 500 million, 500 million people who are outliers out there, where it's like, I'm here to help make sure that you shine in whatever it is that you do, like that. I think that rub kind of comes in, because this side, I can be a business coach with an outlier like lens on it. And this one here to me is like, well, this is just the movement. There's nothing else about it. Like it's more clear. Right. But like, all right, thank you, by the way. This is my rub. This is my rub, because conventional wisdom is pick a niche, go in, like maximize what you can in that niche, get known there, and then expand, and then expand, and then expand, and then expand, and so on and so forth. And the part of me is like, is that my path? Like, is that my path? Because like, I can speak now to what it takes to like show up in the world as you and lead in that place, and I feel in integrity with it, so on and so forth. On the business side, I'm still with you, but I want to have more going on for me in business before I go up to I don't know. I don't think on the enterprise wide solutions every single time. I'm still with the individual leader, for example, right? And I don't want to get in a consultant. I don't want to do that. I've done it. I don't want to do that. So that's where the rub is. What do you like? If you can, firstly, if you're hearing anything in my problem, it's actually really helpful to hear it played back. But if there's anything you want to play out with me, or challenge me on, like, I'm down for it.
Yeah. What I'm hearing is, well, you've got more than a few options. The thing I have for you is, here's how I make decisions. Which one of these is more courageous and bold? Which one of these makes me feel more uneasy? What makes me feel nervous and a little bit scared? Like, which one of these has those elements? Which one, which one's brand new? So my criteria, I call them oh shit moments. And so an oh shit moment is the feeling of nervous, scared, and excited. So that has to be present, those feelings. The second has to be something that's brand new to me. And the third is it has to be something that I feel a sense of conviction toward. I feel it's really, really important to me. And so that's what I use when I need to choose between some different options on which way I want to go. That's how I determine which way to go.
How did it end up with you working with focusing on African American, like the book this time, right? The book that you're writing right now, right? It is for the African American leader, correct?
Yeah, African American, accomplished African American men.
Okay, accomplished African American men.
Yes,
that's where it is. How did your decision criteria lead you to that out of all the different ways you can do it? Because I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, now make it real for me, right? And Outliers, for any of you that are watching this year, like put in your thoughts, like share some things that are showing up for you. Shermain, hit me.
Yeah,
I'll play it out for me.
Here's how I landed on that. Number one, it's me. And number two, I felt a huge sense of imposter syndrome. So I grew up here in Phoenix. Phoenix has 5% Black population here. And so I grew up always feeling like I was the only one in the room. I felt like I sometimes was not Black enough and sometimes not white enough. And I felt a huge sense of imposter syndrome writing this book of like, who am I to write a book for accomplished African American men who know the struggles of leading in a white world? Like, my background is different than most others. And so the reason I landed on this is, from what I just said, the criteria of, man, I feel really nervous, really scared, and really excited to do this. Number two, it's something brand new, and it's something that's really meaningful to me. And so that met my criteria. And yeah, that's it.
All right. I like this. I appreciate it. It's been very helpful just to like unpack this and play it out. Like honestly,
Yeah.
like I can't always go to people and just play this thing through.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of similarities in like what we've chosen to work on. We've chosen different paths to get there,
Yep.
but I really do see like it isn't just like we're here to like raise a global consciousness kind of thing. Like we're in a smaller subset of that bigger
Yep.
bubble. You know what I mean? And so I've always like I really appreciate you. I appreciate the way you challenge my thinking on this. Like there are like so I'm mindful of the time. I'm still good to jam, but I want to like make
I'm
sure
good.
I
Yep,
check in
I'm
with you
good.
right
I'm
here.
clear for the next
Okay.
hour.
All
So
right.
yeah, we're
Okay.
jamming.
Oh, then we might
I'm
be
helping you
jamming
get your
now.
minutes.
We might be jamming here. Yeah. Getting these minutes. We getting these minutes. All right. And I'll say this. I'll share, if you don't mind, I'll share a couple different insights that I have here, and then I'll see, then we'll see where we
Great.
want to play with the jam. All right. And Outliers, like join us in here. Like if you're like you might be chilling, having this on in the background, like later on, like you want to come back and let us know what you got, like let us know. So a few different insights. I'm going to talk about the conversation, and then I'm going to talk about my experience of in the conversation, right? But first, my like the first insight. First, we'll start with the insights of the conversation itself. So, so some of the things that are coming from me is really just like noticing like my conviction, where I'm like, no, I've been on
Yes.
mission. Like I'm not you ain't gonna take that, right? But I also think that also helps me to not to like get out of my head around. I'm like, but am I on mission, on mission, on mission, on mission? You know, I'm on the 80, am I on the 20% of the 80% of the all that? Like, so I'm seeing that level of like, all right, cool. Like, you don't need to put any cycles towards
Yep.
that. All right. Um, the next thing here being when you talked about like one-on-one and I had like that visceral response, right? And then like within like 5 minutes, I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm talking to you one-on-one and I'm doing the same exact thing. And like, so I'm like, wait a minute, as much as I believe it, like the reality is like this works for me. It's really about how visible am I allowing myself to be, how like so on and so forth, right? So I got that. One thing that I didn't say that I actually think also like I am finding works for me is to frame things more in the game versus a goal, right? The goal of like, like when I get into goal mode, that's what shrinks my energy. That's what's like, oh, there's a way to do it. I need to have the plan. I need to take the end state, reverse engineer it. I need to know before I go. I almost describe it like driving. It's like nowadays there's Google Maps, but like sometimes I'll play this game and I'm like, okay, I'm at home. I know I want to go to destination X, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go down the street, make a right. Like I'm writing my own Google Maps, and I need to know the exact thing. It's almost like MapQuest.
Yep.
Like I have to print out the
Yep.
directions before I go, and then if anything happens, that's off. Like I'd rather sit in traffic for 30 extra minutes because I know this this thing here rather than taking the detour. Because the moment I get on the detour, my
Yep.
map is
Useless.
no longer
Yep.
makes sense. Yeah, map is useless at that point. I think that's it. Like I'm a map question or my Google mapping, right? And I feel like right now, like when in talking to you right here, I'm like, oh, I think a part of me is still trying to like map quest this. It's like, okay, let me make sure I have all these things like set aside properly to make sure that I am like fully good to go so that when I leave this house, I can go down this path. And there's just a level of freedom I felt actually from having this conversation where I'm like, okay, I think that I'm looking for security and certainty of like, am I choosing the right path? Rather than allowing myself to be like the GPS is the GPS is above me. I have my compass, my internal heart compass, my soul compass. I know which direction is north overall. And like, if I need to recalculate based on where I'm at, I will recalculate there. And then the last thing that's coming to me here based on just the actual conversation we had is it takes me back to the rise of Superman by Stephen Kotler, where it goes to like the way to get into flow states are where things really get done. And most high achievers, I would consider myself a high achiever, like or high, yeah, let me not sugarcoat it. I consider myself a high achiever. Um, Most high achievers will often look to see how do we triple, double, triple, like 10, like we'll go for really big things. And in his book, he was just even saying like 30%. I'm like, 30% seems like, yeah, why 30 when we could go like, and the real for me has been whenever I do that, I get into deep concentration, thinking about a whole lot of things. The reason we're having this conversation is because I didn't do that. I was like, the 10,000 minutes is like, oh, I just got to go fill up this time. And my goal with the 10,000 minutes is to make each minute 1% better than the other. So that's that. It's not each call. I don't want to wait that long for it, but minute after minute after minute after minute, I want to be 1% better than the minute before. And so I'm taking that in and just realizing that like when I free myself from having to map quest this whole thing out, and instead I allow myself to Google map it and be like, am I 1% closer? Am I here now? Okay, now let's recalculate. But don't worry, you can still keep driving. You don't have to pull over to the side of the road. You can still keep driving and be like, oh, you made a left turn here. Great. Now that you made a left turn, this is where we go. That feels really real for me. I just realized the amount of pressure I've been putting on myself to get it right and not waste my time and know if I'm doing this mission, am I on the left side of the mission or am I on the right side of the mission? And then overall, I'm like, you're on mission, dude.
Yep.
Keep going. All right. Those are my insights around the conversation, like the conversation we actually were talking about. I'd like to get your insights from the conversation. If you have anything for yourself, right? Share your insights for yourself. And then we'll talk about the experience of being in.
Yeah, that's great. So one insight that I have for myself is a reminder to stay on mission, I'm on a mission to end loneliness for 9 billion people. It's impossible. But I'm on that mission to start with one person, to help them feel a sense of belonging and to feel seen and heard and like they matter and like they can be themselves at work and at home and all the different spaces and places. So my insight it's around staying on mission. So that's one insight. Another insight actually came up as you were just speaking about freeing yourself from the map quest of things. And I thought to myself of like, oh, what are the things that I'm doing? Before I started my podcast, I thought like, oh, I've got to have this. I've got to have a microphone. I've got to have a camera. I've got to have all the things first before I start. And another coach said, Shermain, haven't you been talking about this podcast for months now? What if don't you have everything you need? And so there was this where I was in that moment, that was my map quest. I had this map. It needed to look a certain way before I started. And so the insight for me was a reminder around, Shermain, start. You can start without the map quest. Like go and you'll figure it out. Or you can bring someone on to handle that part. So those have been at least two of my insights from today.
I appreciate you, man. This is magical here. And Outliers, like this is how we play the game. We are constantly sharing our insights. Like this is one of the hidden secrets that I found, and it's not so hidden, but it's hidden secrets to compounding your growth, playing up at different levels. It's just that element of being able to reflect back and choose to see what's happening from a different perspective. And so you'll notice in every single conversation I have multiple times where I'm just asking, like, reflect back. What are you hearing? What's your insight from this? So on and so forth. Because it's once that's been put into space, we now get a chance to it's like compounded interest. You can compound it, like we compound it that much faster every time we go and we say, this is the return we're taking from it. Now that's a part of our assets right now, and then it becomes liquid and we get a chance to build upon it. So that feels really good. And like, we're always curious about your insights. Keep playing this year. Shermain, you've talked about one person at a time. I'm going to use this opportunity to invite you all to join us in the one person, one conversation at a time initiative. So go ahead. Like this is where Niiamah has all the different ideas, right? Sorry, like I can contradict myself, but you'll see this happen on when I was doing the podcast just as a pre-recorded podcast. Now people are coming onto the podcast and we're having live. It's all happening live. Mm-hmm. And I would ask people, and I'm going to ask you now to join us in what we call the one person, one conversation at a time initiative. And that's, you can go and share this out, make sure people know that this conversation is taking place. But I think that like what's the real important thing is for the right person to get this message right now. right? And my thoughts are, if you can think of one person in your world who would really benefit from the conversation that Shermain and I are having, this conversation that we're all, that I'd say the conversation Shermain and I are leading, I think that's probably the better way of looking at it than the fact that we're just having it. So if you know anyone who would benefit from the conversation we are leading, whether it's happening right now in real time or they would benefit from watching it afterwards, my ask is that you share this conversation with them with deep intention. Let them know, hey, earlier today I was watching Niiamah and Shermain, or right now Niiamah and Shermain are on, and I thought of you, and here's why. And then just send them that message, send them the link, and we'll continue and grow from there. There's something in my mind that just goes like, this is not about getting viral. It's about making sure that each person has access to this one conversation at a time. As I say it, I feel like, because I remember where we were at the beginning of this conversation. But like making sure that but it honestly works in that way, similar to how you're saying in the book. It's like the right next person gets this. And to me, Shermain, my hope against hopes, the thing is that 10 years from now, this conversation is still relevant. Not because it reached thousands of people one time and they all heard it and then walked away from it, but because 1,000 people over the last 10 years got this message at the exact right time for them, when they were trying to figure something out, when they were thinking about their loneliness or their movement or whatever it is. Like, to me, that moves the needle versus just, I don't know, the metrics on the vanity metrics on things. So one person, one conversation at a time. Think about someone in your world. And if you're that person who received this, whether it's now or in the future, one, say thank you to the person who sent it to you, and then help us pay this forward. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes,
Can I add
of
something
course.
to your audience?
Please.
When you pass this along to someone else, tell them where, because this is going to be this might be a large video, possibly.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, at 2 minutes in, this is where you need to listen, or whatever, 12 minutes in, so that they can they know exactly where to go. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Shermain. Thank you.
Anytime.